Name Money Music.
Yeah. Broken dreams. Broken dreams. Just giving you my story. You know?
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Back here again with the 2Tally podcast with Coach E. Shout out to Jay Bruce for that intro music. He doing my intro and my outro until I decided I want to do something different. You know, I'm doing this thing, so I decided to put my family members on. Cause maybe somebody hear that's off his Broken Dreams mixtape. Came out maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but that was one of the songs that I really liked, and I decided to put that intro, his intro, as my intro. But back here with episode 2, 2Tally podcast. This episode I want to talk about my love-hate relationship with the game of baseball. I just started coaching baseball again here in Lincoln, and I'll give a little background about my situation with baseball. I played baseball for 4 years of high school baseball in my hometown. 4-year letterman. I feel like I was one of the better players from the high school at the time, and played a little JUCO ball at Colin. I really enjoyed the time there. Met some really cool people. My roommate was from New Orleans, Hunville, with high school he went to. He went on to play at Jackson State, but we're still good friends today, and that's one of that's one of the good relationships I got out of going to JUCO. Me and that guy still good. We keep in touch from time to time, and that's my room dog. We still call each other room dog to this day. Matter of fact, I think he sent me something on Instagram saying, "I see you, room dog." But again, played 4 years of high school baseball. At the time, the Indians were good, which is my team. They had Man Ram, Joey Bell, all those guys. And so I was totally in love with the game of baseball. Would come home and watch it. Back then, we got all the Braves games there. So pretty much you watching the Braves, except for on Saturday, maybe you'll get to see your team or whatnot. So the internet wasn't there. So you kind of had to watch what was on TV, and hopefully you get a glimpse of your team on SportsCenter that night. I think Baseball Tonight maybe had just started, and that was what we had to rely on and try to get a glimpse of our baseball team. And pretty much everybody from my area was Braves fans because that's who was on TV. But again, this is sort of like the year 1995, and I'm in love with baseball. I love everything about it. Love hitting, love fielding, love all the aspects of the game. Stealing bases was my thing, and just trying to rattle pitchers and get on their nerves. But at that time, again, loved the game. So after I finished playing my year and a half, 2 years at Colin, I went to the real world, and didn't play any baseball, just kind of lounged around, hooped a little bit, recreational wise, and watched football, and football kind of took over that love I had for baseball. So I met a few guys when I was living in Brookhaven, and they got me involved in softball, grown man softball, underhand, that good stuff. The weekend softball, it was fun. So we did that, and at this time, my love, really hadn't gone anywhere, so I really enjoyed going out there with those guys. And the intensity that I had as a baseball player, I brought it to softball, which was good and bad because it's a recreational sport. You don't win much if you win games, but I couldn't transfer that mentality to recreational fun softball from competitive baseball. But that's just me because I don't like to lose anything. So, that time came and went. Maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and just playing that from time to time. And the older I got, it faded away. Keep in mind, the same time I'm playing softball, the Indians start sucking, and so my love for watching baseball, as far as playing it, starts to fade right along with it. So fast forward to I start coaching coaching football, maybe 2004, back home. And football just dominated my time. I like baseball, like watching, kids play it. But as far as watching a game on TV, or even watching the whole game of high school ball, unless I had an interest, like a family member or something playing, I couldn't stand to do it. Like I would see baseball on TV, change the channel. By this time, the MLB network was coming out, and I felt like that was a waste of a channel on my DirecTV guide. But it was what it was, and I really couldn't stand the sight of baseball because I loved it for so long, and the game itself had got kind of watered down, especially when they went through the whole steroid phase and they called themselves cleaning it up and doing all that stuff. I remember, I think it was the late 90s. The late 90s, early 2000s when they had that big home run chase with Barry and Sammy and Mark McGwire. I don't think baseball was any more popular at that time. And I loved it at the time too, because I'm not a fan of the Cubs or the A's or the Cardinals, but I enjoy seeing Sosa and McGwire, hit those home runs and celebrate with each other, and that camaraderie, and that they just made the game exciting. And then when Barry went on his chase for 72, I think. I'm not a Giants fan, but I love Barry Bonds, and I still to this day think, even though if he was juicing or not, I don't know, don't really matter. Juicing don't help your hand-eye coordination. And he was one of the better players in the game before his body changed. So, that's my opinion, whatever. Let him in the Hall of Fame. He need to be there, especially letting some of these other guys in. But back to me not really loving the game of baseball. So I go to Columbus and really still don't really care for the game. I kind of faded away from playing softball. I play every now and then in a rec league, just to basically to get out the house and do something, because I didn't go very many places in Columbus. And so I played up there one summer just to have something to do. And still not loving the game. So now I moved to Columbus. I'm sorry, not to Columbus. I moved to Tallahassee and here at Lincoln. And so in one of my classes, I had about 7 baseball players. And once I found, the teacher next door to me that basically got hired the same year I did was the baseball coach. So I had the baseball coach next door to me. I had about 7 of his players in one class. And when I found out they were baseball players, we started to gradually have conversation about baseball. And so, the season went on, the football season went on, and them guys would talk about the game a little bit. Then I'd hear them talking about their fall ball games during the fall season. And so, I started engaging in conversation with them and, talking a little baseball and telling them I'd come see them and, things of that nature. And really, I'm just shooting the stuff. Really don't have much intention to go out there. But the closer I got with their coach and the more conversations we had, I said, well, I'm going to go out, see what these guys are about. And so, roll around, baseball season comes. It's maybe about this time last year, I go to a couple games and, I didn't build a relationship with the kids, and, I told them I want to come see them. And at this point, I'm genuinely having interest in what they're doing, on the field and whatnot, because I want to see them play, because they seem like a good group of guys and pretty good at baseball from what I hear, because they had, I think the ace at Florida was from the high school, and maybe one of the better daily players the ace from Florida State came to the high school, and one of the better players, I think an infielder at Florida went to the high school. So they had a tradition for, putting out pretty decent baseball players. So I went to a couple games, and I went to one game to start off with, and I think they lost or whatever, but just the excitement that being at that game and kind of feeling like, okay, I can see some real baseball. They're going to make, for the most part, they're going to make the routine plays. They're going to, every play they should make, for the most part, they're going to make it. They're going to hit the ball the other way. They're going to, pounce on fastballs down the middle. They're going to hit spots as pitchers. And so that kind of piqued my interest because, I forgot to tell you, I did try coaching baseball one year in Natchez. Didn't work. And, for reasons that I don't care to go in, because I'm just not that type of guy. It just didn't work. So back to Tallahassee. It just rekindled. It was the baseball I was used to when I played, if so to speak. I was used to shortstop making routine plays, pitchers hitting spots, and not just trying to throw strikes, but they're throwing it low and away, wasting pitches, doing different things to get batters out instead of just trying to throw strikes and just hoping and praying at those strikes. So that game, I think they lost, but they faced a pretty good team or whatnot. And so we had conversation the next day in class, and I talked to the coach the very next day, and we had conversation about it. And so really my interest was piqued. And again, let me go back. When coach found out that I played a little baseball in college, he asked me to coach with him. At the time, I just didn't want to take that time away from home, and so I didn't really know how much free time I would have. And I said I declined at the time. So, but anyway, let's go back to the season. So maybe week 4 or 5 in the season, and I'm starting to come to more games, having more conversation with the kids, having more conversation with the players. And lo and behold, guess who starts to be good again? The Indians. So now I'm watching baseball on TV, and I'm watching baseball at school, and I'm following it on my phone. And, any kind of way I can get coverage for the Indians, I'm trying to get it. And so now that love for the TV baseball has came back, and I'm starting to get this itch about being around good baseball where I work. So let's say maybe late March rolls around, and the kids that are in my class start to put it together on the baseball field. Long story short, they reel off 19 straight victories. I don't know if it's 19 straight regular season victories, but 19 straight regular or victories, period. Those guys actually won a state championship last year. They have a kid that actually signed with Florida State, and I got to see him pitch Sunday. His first start, he won. And that kind of got me like, man, I really do miss this thing. I don't know how much I'm still not revealing how much I missed it, but I really missed it, and I want to do something, and with these guys. And so coach again asked me if I wanted to coach again. I said yes this time, and so now I'm nervous about coaching these guys, because some of these guys that I'm about to coach, keep in mind I'm coaching freshmen, are at the same skill level, if not better, than some of the guys I coached back in the day. Now, so I'm nervous about, the drills I'm going to do and things I'm going to teach them and stuff like that. Well, first couple of days roll around, and I don't say much. I let the other guys take control, and I, drop a note or two here and there. And I just trying to figure out the routine and how to interact with these kids and whatnot. So the second week rolls around, and now I have them on my own. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, how's my first day going to be? Again, I'm still nervous. How my game's going to be, how my practice is going to be, how they're going to respond to me, different things like that. Different things you think of as a coach. But once we got out there, all that baseball that I thought I forgot started to roll back in. All those things that we did when we were in high school that we hated, even though it helped us out, came back. All those Gil Morris and Buddy Wade quotes and drills and smart aleckness start to fall out of me. So, and if you know me, I'm pretty well versed in sarcasm. Put that sarcasm on top of Buddy Wade and Gil Morris. Those were the two most sarcastic people that I've ever met, but good baseball coaches. And all those things that they taught me as a baseball player, and all the stuff I learned from Coach Case also, even though I was only around him for 2 years, that stuff started to come back out. And those nerves that I thought I was going to have, or thought that I had, went away within the first probably 15 minutes of practice. All the drills and whatnot that we used to do that I felt like made us better, I've implemented, and those guys have taken to them. Even stuff that, I've learned from the coaches out there. Because, from going a good maybe 10 years or 8 years without coaching baseball, you tend to forget some stuff. Like, I probably won't forget any wide receiver drills because I do it every year. But 8 to 10 year lapse in coaching, you forget a lot of stuff. If you don't do anything for that amount of time, you'll start to forget it. But just thinking back on my time as a baseball player and my time coaching, the way you play the game or the way you will coach the game, if you in turn start to be a coach, all those things that you hated or that you thought you maybe forgot, those things will sit there and come back out. They manifest themselves, and you in turn probably become the guys that coached you if you respected them. And I respected those guys that coached me. And the reason I say that because some players or some kids didn't respect their coach, and they want to be the opposite of what that guy was. That maybe they had a hard coach, or maybe, just whatever the situation was, they try to be the opposite. But I respected the two guys that coached me in high school and the guy that coached me in JUCO, and the stuff that they taught me, I'm trying to implement into these guys. I think I'm gonna speak on those three guys for real quick. I think Buddy Wade made me a better player. Gave me work ethic, taught me work ethic. As for from a baseball standpoint, as far as repetition. Coach Morris was more of a pitcher's guy, and he helped us. I played outfield. He helped us get position players. It's a good deal. But I think he helped me more become a man, a better young man at the time than a baseball player, which I respect him a lot more for that. And then talking about Coach Case. Coach Case really helped me become a better man, better young man, a better individual. Because even when I stopped playing for him, he would still call, he would still check on me, he would still make sure I was doing the right things and not just, being nilly-willy with my life or whatnot. Made sure I was still on the right path. Even when I got back in school some years later at USM, he still was checking on me. But now he's moved on to school in Texas, and we don't stay in contact as much. But some of the things he did for me when we were in contact with, I'll never forget, and I appreciate him for that. But as far as my love for the game, it is totally 100% back. I'm having a blast out there with those kids, learning stuff every day, implementing stuff with them every day. Just the same love I have for football, I really have restored it for the game of baseball. In the game of baseball, you really have to love it, because the regular person watching a baseball game is probably boring to them. They don't understand what's going on. They wonder why we love the game like that. But it's fun. You can't really describe it. Then I'm gonna leave you with saying that I finally got a chance to go to a major league game. Everybody was telling me, you got to go to a game. It's when I was hating the game, you got to go to a game. I'm telling you, it's more fun to be at the game than to watch it on TV. And I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. Well, again, the Indians are good, or were good last year, and hoping to be good this year. And I went to Tampa to see them play. I got to see their ace pitch, which in itself was a win-win for me, because I get to see the Indians and I get to see the ace. So went to the game in Tampa. I loved it. And everybody that told me you got to experience the game live, they were exactly right. Yeah, you got to eat the food. You got to maybe have a beer. You got to experience being at a major league park and enjoying it. And as much fun as I had, the people that I talked to told me that Tampa's park is on the low end of good Major League Baseball parks. And so if you can go to Wrigley, or if you can go to Yankee Stadium, all the other parks, and have more fun and have a better experience than what I did in Tampa, I'm really excited about a chance to to go to some of these other parks. And hopefully I'll get a chance to go to Atlanta soon, because it's probably the closest other than Tampa. Again, I want to close this out. So I've been rambling for a minute, almost 20 minutes here, and I'm trying to keep my podcast at right around that time. Again, this is episode 2 of the 2Tally podcast. It's Coach Evans here. Any ideas you want to hear about the show, any constructive criticism you want to give and whatnot, I'm open to all that. Anybody locally you may want to get on the show or for me to interview, I'm going to try to get those the basketball coaches here soon, not just the assistants, because our girls are leaving to go to state tomorrow, and I think our boys are hosting a game Friday with the chance to go to state. So hopefully I can get some of those guys in here, and I definitely want to get Coach Yeomans in here to talk about girls flag football. But again, this is the 2Tally podcast, and all the stuff that we talked about. If you want to leave comments or you want to critique me or whatnot, my handle on social media on Twitter is Coach Evans9. I'd be willing to listen to you, talk to you, get some local guys on the show. I'm open to feedback, open to suggestions. Again, it's the 2Tally podcast. Coach Evans, I'm out. See you next week. Even though I ended the show before I really wanted to, well, not really I wanted to, but I just had a thought after I ended the show. My love for baseball, I had a guy that played with me in high school, and he has recently came across some tough times with his body, and I just want to let him know that I personally definitely am praying for you, wishing for a speedy recovery, because me and that guy been through a lot of stuff playing baseball. We played from the age of maybe 6 up until 18. It's to the point where I was hurt when he decided to go to another college to play baseball. But that's my guy, 2-9. If you get a chance to hear this, I definitely send it to you and let you know that I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you, and I hope you get well soon. Keep it easy, 2-9. You always gonna be in my prayers, and you always my shortstop. I'll let you later.
Name, money, music.
Yeah. Broken dreams. Broken dreams. Just giving you my story. Yes, sir.